You are not the concepts of yourself that you think you are. You work with concepts, but they are only minor representations, symbols, and not the definition of who and what you are. Concepts and ideas are the language of the soul. But like writing, they are not the source of one's being. They are only words being used. Since we think in language, as well as images and feelings, have you ever stopped to consider, how did we think before we learned the language of the culture we were born into? Surely we were thinking in some way. What would that have been like? Having just been born into the world and not yet indoctrinated into society's present makeup, we were closest to the nature of our being as we ever have been. Like then, if today you could somehow strip your thoughts and feelings of symbolic language, you would be one step closer to the base of your being. You would be forced to feel, to observe, but refuse to give any labels created by language. Thoughts are fundamentally expressions of the self. They are eruptions of self-energy, yet the thoughts themselves are still not the whole of their source, not the whole of you. They are indeed part of you. They lead back to you, but are only one angle and not the totality of your being. Yet we often attach to our thoughts as if they were more than an expression. We get carried away by them without realizing we, our inner selves, are the painter, and the thoughts, ideas are merely the paint in its own certain type of arrangement. And just like paints, thoughts can be changed, substituted, or completely tossed away, because the conscious mind is only a small portion of the greater self. So too, the thoughts, concepts, and ideas you entertain, either of the world or of yourself. On one hand, you can follow your thoughts, concepts, ideas, and learn something about who you are in terms of your current nature and physical reality. Avenues of where you are working within, which can be highly valuable. On the other hand, your thoughts, concepts, ideas are like children birthed by the greater you, which is far more than even the concepts and ideas themselves. And it is that part which is the real you. Consider your upper conscious mind, that part where you generate everyday thoughts, like a hand that grasps and manipulates physical reality. Now, question: do you only give allegiance to that one hand? Or do you also see the importance of other parts of your body and thus the entirety of your soul? In other words, if all you focus on is your conscious mind, if your definition of self is wholly related to your thinking, then you are simply relying on that one part of yourself, that one part of your spirit for everything. You are relying on that single hand to do all the heavy lifting, ignoring the value of your legs, your back, the strength of your core. Now, Psychology has done a great disservice by making the arbitrary distinction within the self of the conscious mind and subconscious mind, and placing a lot of distrust in that subconscious portion. The fact is, there is no delineation from one to the other, as there is no separation on your body between appendages. That is, you can call an arm and a leg, but they are all connected and cannot be separated. They work in unison and cannot be cut from the other. Yet this is what we do when we only pay attention to our conscious mind and the thoughts we entertain there. We forget the value of the rest of our multidimensional, dynamic spirit. And worse, if you don't trust the subconscious part of you, it's like saying you don't trust your legs, your feet, your nose, everything else. Now, how do you think your organism, your psyche, is going to work then? Also, keep in mind, when you're interacting with other people, you're not interacting with their totality either. You're only dealing with their single-hand grasping appendage of thinking. Chances are highly likely they don't even acknowledge and thus completely ignore the rest of their vastness, which is another reason why we need more compassion and understanding in this world. We all need to offer some trust and faith in those other portions of ourself, as we are much larger than our everyday thoughts. Those other portions can help bring stability and lift us up. You don't have to understand how it all works, just as you don't understand all the mechanical processes going on in your body just to lift a simple pen. Yet you do it. You trust. Give that trust to the entirety of your spirit. You are not your ego. You are not the thoughts you think. You are an awareness that experiences thoughts. At your core, you are all things, as your mind can go in any direction. You are the source, the well, the beginning of all your experience. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying ignore or disregard your thoughts, for they have value. They are the beginning of self-expression. Just understand, they are not the entirety of who and what you are. They do point to you and are of you, but they are only representations. They are the paint you are using to color your spirit. You can always change the palette.